Are we live?
Yes.
Hello? Hello? Can everyone hear us? Can anyone hear us? Hello? Can anyone hear us?
Are we live yet?
Yeah, I think we're live.
What do you need?
It's not responding. There's some technical things at work to do. Yes.
So are we on?
Yes.
Okay, so right now everybody's on. Everybody can see us. Okay, all right.
Please, if you can see us, type 111.
Yeah. Good evening. Well, should I even say good night, Seth? And welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships. Yeah, today has been quite challenging, but we're here. Okay, you see. So
Yeah, they say they can hear us.
they can hear us. All right. So can they see us? That's the next thing. Because what I'm
Next,
saying there
can you
doesn't
see
look
us?
like us.
Can you see us? Can you see us?
I'm saying starting soon, not us.
Can you see us? They said we can hear you, but can you see us? We are live. We are live. If you can see us, type 111. Type 111. They said we can hear you, but can you see us? That's some technical demons at work today. If you can see us, please type 111. No, we can't see you. Wahala day.
Maybe we'll do radio station today.
Maybe we'll do radio broadcast. We'll do radio broadcast.
Yes, so while we're waiting for the pictures to come up, good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, depending on where you are. How are you doing? I think that's a question that we need to ask people more these days. How are you doing? Because there's a lot happening, depending on where you live, different issues, different challenges, and it is so important that we touch base with the people around us and just find out, how are you doing? Ask genuinely, ask, how are you doing? And wait to hear a proper response. Some people will just say fine and move on. Meanwhile, there are issues, there are challenges. You may not be able to solve the problem, but we say a problem shared is a problem half solved. So it's important that you just reach out. It's part of being human. It's part of what makes us this unique, what do you call it, species. Some people say species. But yes, it's really important. Find out how the next person is doing. Because if you are in Nigeria, your challenge may be fuel subsidy removal, forex, and so on. If you are living in certain parts of Nigeria, your challenge may be the fear of the possibility of war. If you are a copper living in Nigeria at the moment, right, your fear might be, hey, it's just 1 year I'm supposed to do NYSU. Now they want to draft me to go and fight somewhere. That's not what I bargained for, and so on. And if you are living in a place like Hawaii, then your challenge is something that is even life threatening. Like, what's going to happen? there's the fire, there are the many lives lost, there are the many lives unaccounted for. People are looking for their loved ones. It's terrible. And then if you're in some other places, weather issues here and there. I mean, people are having issues all over the place, right? And when we talk about inflation in Nigeria, we think, oh, it's just Nigeria. But thanks to social media and thanks to the internet, we're able to see that inflation is not just a Nigerian problem, it's a global challenge. People in other countries are experiencing this challenge as well. In fact, before we came on this show, I saw a post by a news agency in Canada, and they were doing analysis on the number of people who are going to this place where they give out food to those who can't afford food. Forgotten what they call it now. And they said that in the past year, that number has gone up by, is it 113 or something percent? And one of those houses, or one of those, I don't know what they call them, in, is it Scarborough? Scarborough. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm in Nigeria. Sorry, please, you people. But they did a deep dive into their own numbers, and they found out that a significant percentage of the people who were coming to collect food were people who had jobs. So the question was, hello, why do people who have jobs 40 hours each week need to come and get food? Why is it that they cannot afford food? And one of the reasons that was cited was rent is so high that by the time you pay rent, there's not much left over for you to buy food and so on. So it's now between, do you want food? Do you want rent? So because there's an option for food, most of them are just happy to sort out rent and then go and get food for free here. Yeah, so inflation is a challenge everywhere. And before we go further, we'll just stop and thank everyone who has waited. Some waited, some left and came back. But whatever reason it is that you're still here, thank you. And I also like to say thank you to my indefatigable, that's how they put it, and relentless husband, right? Who continued trying to deal with the technical issue until it was resolved.
Please, you push
Wait.
Okay.
And I also like to thank myself for being a submissive wife and not giving up on him, because since my, which one left? One left, Sha, and the other one was remaining. So
Which one left?
I'm not sure. But bottom line is that right now, whichever one left has come back and we are here. So sometimes in life challenges happen, right? And things may not always go as you plan. The lesson I'll tell you from today is that you have to just be there for your spouse.
Thank you.
If they have decided to be stubborn and continue fighting, you just be there for them. Because if you walk away, it's like you've given up on them. You have to show solidarity.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself back into the show. Before, I was in the technical crew. Now I am in the technician's crew. Okay. So now I am part of the anchor crew. Please, thank you for thanking me. I really needed that Thanksgiving because what I have been through, I've been through a lot. You understand? To be here this evening, I've been through a lot. I hope you can hear me. Yes. I've been through a lot. So just anyhow you can support me this evening, just support me, because in fact, this the topic that we are doing this evening, right? Actually, it has played out before this because what is the cost of love? Inflation. She has talked about inflation. Me, I am coming to add the rising cost of love. See what love has cost two of us this evening. It's a very costly cost, because
right now I'm not even sure what you're saying.
It's a very costly cost because when technical demons enter your.
By the way, the camera is there.
Oh, the camera. Sorry. You see that part of the. You don't want to see what's happening backstage. Me and my guys, as in some technical demons just enter. Everything was working just before the show. everything was working. Just for us to say, let us go live, they just started offering one by one. So you just see all our setup. There's secondary setup, tertiary setup. Everything just started offering one by one. And at that point, it now became a case of, should we cancel or do we postpone? And me, I know everything was working just now. Do you understand? So I can't understand how the thing stopped working. So I'm just using all this time to explain to you
Yeah, and
that
this your explanation that
that
you're explaining.
wait,
You're following somebody's example from where you went yesterday.
yes,
But
yes,
let's
it was Uncle OBJ.
let's just go
Let's
to the
dive
show. Yes.
to dive into the show. What I wanted to extrapolate
Mm.
from what happened before the show
Yes.
is that for her to still be on set, and the way she was even flowing when she started, I was just thinking maybe I should just stay backstage so that you just continue. Do you understand? Just stay back, just because you're just flowing as if you didn't even know that anything was going. Meanwhile, we were just wounding ourselves over there. But the truth is, this is real love. That she did not abuse me. She did not shout at me.
Oh, my
She was
goodness.
just sitting down. Should we cancel? I said, just give me some minutes. She said, okay. As in, she exhibited patience. So one of the costs of love is patience. See, when inflation hits your relationship, you need to apply patience because the cost begins to go up.
Oh my goodness.
Are you getting the connection now? So because it's inflation that mixes the cost that mixes the cost of things to rise. So when inflation hits your relationship and the cost of the relationship begins to rise, patience is required because patience is what sees you through inflation. In fact, it's what keeps you through from a high to a low and back up.
Okay, so let's start taking comments now.
Okay, all right.
Let's see who's with us.
There's a lot of people that have been with us. Umfon.
That's Auntie Coxie.
Hey, Auntie Coxie. Oh, Auntie Coxie. Auntie Coxie says true love is pricey. You see what I was just saying. Say true love is pricey. He said inflation or no inflation, we love. Cut your coat according to your cloth. More grease to our love. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oluremi Agbede. Oh, my pastor. We thank you for waiting. We thank you for waiting. We thank you for all of those that waited for us. There are a lot of comments about people that are waiting. They say we are still here.
Debbie.
We can't see you. We told you we are still battling.
Debbie, thank you so much for waiting.
Amarachi Nwachukwu. You say we can hear you, but we can't see you. Thank you. Hey, Kate Kingsley Effiong. You see, if you were here now, we would have been hustling together. Yeah, everyone, we thank you. We thank you. Hello, good evening. Tonya and the teens. Oh, hello, good evening, ma'am. We celebrate grace. Thank you for giving me visual hug, Queen Debbie. Thank you. Thank you for the I need all the hug
consolation, right?
As consolation.
Yeah.
So back to the topic that we're talking about. When we talk about the rising cost of love, Auntie Coxie said, love is expensive. It's costly. It costs you some things. It will cost you certain things.
And whether you like it or not, you will have to deal with that.
You have to deal with it, exactly.
Whether there's inflation or not, you will have to try to address whatever it is that you find, whatever situation you are exposed to in your marriage, in your family.
Yes.
I mean, the basic thing to do, I mean, if you have not yet experienced this, you probably will soon. And that is that if you have children in school, you will soon get the invoice for their school fees.
Bam, bam! It will soon hit you straight up.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, most of the time, you'll be anticipating that, or maybe how it used to be before. You anticipate that, hey, when the school fees comes, I will just do like I used to do. You know how they said, Samson said, I will arise like I used to arise, and I'll just deal with all these people. But in this particular situation, it is such that you should not assume. It is such that you should take time and plan well, because a lot is changing. I mean, a lot is going on.
Yes.
one of the invoices was higher, as in double with extra,
Yes.
right? So imagine that you are getting that for more than one child. What kind of adjustment are you going to make? So that's part one for people who have children in school, and the fact that schools are reacting to the inflation, schools are reacting to fuel subsidy removal. In some boarding schools are factoring in the cost of fuel because they have to run generators and so on. I mean, there's just a lot going on. So what do you do? Where's the starting point? Where's the starting point when you see that everything is going up? When you go to the market and the amount that you carry to the market brings you or gives you so much less than what it used to be before. What do you do when you have people that depend on you and the money you used to send to them before and they would be okay? All of a sudden is no longer enough. And they are calling you after 1 week, after 2 weeks, and saying, hey, you need to make an adjustment. What do you do for people who are taking care of their parents, people who are supporting their younger siblings? How do you respond when this is happening? So first of all is to be aware that it's happening. It's really, really important to be aware that it is happening, you know? And this is why listening to news sometimes is very important, because at least you are aware of the changes. So when someone says, hey, the money is not enough, you will not say, what did you do with it?
Or something
What did
like
you do
that.
with it? It's just last week I sent you money, something. There was an account of a woman who had to drag her husband to the market with her, because
Yes,
every time
yes.
she went to the market, after all this subsidy removal and this cost
She will tell
went
him,
up,
you
he
will
will
not
come
agree.
back and say, what did you do with the money? You are this, you are that, something, just making such a fuss, as if she was keeping money aside for herself, or as if she was not using the money well. So she decided that the way to solve the problem was to ask her husband to follow her to the market. And he went and was dumbfounded. He
At the
went
price of
and
things.
he just kept his mouth open while people were pricing and pricing and pricing. As in, he was too shocked to even participate
In the
in
pricing
the
process.
pricing, in the bargaining. He was just there looking. And she was now, trust now, that kind of situation. If you were the wife, what will you be saying? Is it not a, hey, you see now?
I told
You see
you.
for yourself? I told you. You were saying, oh my goodness. So yes, a reality check for everybody. It's important. If someone is not on the same page with you, or somebody is in somebody's unaware about what is going on, you need to close the gap and get the person to be aware of what is going on. So whether it is to send newspaper article in case they don't listen to the news, whether it is to send them a link of the broadcast from which station, whether it is to say, like the woman, please follow me to the market, let's go and do the shopping together. Whatever it is that will work for you, please go ahead and do it, so you can close that gap. It is very important that you close the gap, so that you're on the same page when you are discussing. Yes, Debbie says the awareness is
It's awareness.
the awareness. Yes, Debbie, the awareness is very important. So by the time you are all on the same page as far as awareness is concerned, the next thing is, what do we really need? What do we want and what do we need? You actually have to do that check. You have to. There's a way that you are comfortable with the funds you have and the needs that you have, and you don't need to do that check. But when it's becoming tight, you actually should sit down, even if you weren't doing it before. Sit down and look again. What do we have as per resources? And then what do we need? Not what do we want. Sort out the needs first, then you can now start coming to the things you want. So, for instance, if you have the money at hand now, please pay school fees, pay rent, pay those things that you know you must, they are needed for life, they are needed for existence, right? Sort them out. It's not that you say, oh, it's the summer, we need to make it fun for the kids, and then you now spend money, you know, buying ice cream, eating pizza, going to fun places, and then when the time comes for you to pay fees, you look at your bank balance and say, oh my goodness, we don't have enough.
No, the bank balance will no longer balance your bank. I think the balance is not balancing the bank.
You know, so you have to be deliberate, because you know there's a way that money goes when it is just sitting in the account.
Bam.
Don't let that happen. And the fact is, because of the pressure, people will come by default. People are going to come and people are going to ask you for help. People are going to ask you for support. People are going to say, I've not paid my rent. People are going to say, I am sick. People are going to ask for help. And are you adding somebody?
Okay. Please, can you hear us? If you can hear us. Okay, we're back. We're back. We're back.
Okay. All right. So I think we're back, and I think the last thing I was saying is that if you do not take care of your own primary responsibilities first, then you will soon find yourself in a situation where you are needing help from other people to be able to deal with the issues that are primary for you. And that just shows poor planning on your part. That affects your reputation, whether you like it or not. People start looking at you like, this guy, can you imagine? Doesn't know how to sort out himself. How can you come to me for so and so and so? Didn't you know that this or that? And you know how people like to drill down when you come to meet them for money, especially when you're married. They'll start asking you, what happened?
What happened?
Didn't you know that? Weren't you aware that?
And you know, this happens also. You know, sometimes you will say when you enter those kind of situations, you now go and meet somebody, or somebody comes to meet you from where, and then you now ask the person, what happened? Some people will be like, if you want to help me, help me. If you're not help me,
because some people don't want the question. But the fact is, people want to know, because what you need to realize is that the people who you are going to meet also have things that they need to do with their
Yes.
money.
So
They also have plans. They also have pressures.
yes.
Right? May not be the same as yours, but
pressures no pop.
yes, but for them to just take from their resources and just give to you, a lot of times they want some kind of justification. They want to feel like, okay,
I'm doing
it's
something.
not that
Yes.
I'm wasting this money.
Yes.
It's not
I'm
that I'm
making a
giving it to
difference.
somebody who was reckless, and then I'm just the person's way of dealing with the fact that they didn't plan well and stuff like that. So just don't put yourself in that situation. Plan well. So we talked about the fact that everybody needs to be on the same page. Awareness.
Yeah.
We talked about the fact that you need to look at your needs. What are the needs that you have, and make sure you pay attention to them first. We talked about the fact that for those things that are needs, you should respond immediately. If you have the resources, sort it out, so that it's not that the money is sitting in your account and is getting depleted day by day, and then by the time it is like the final date, the cut-off date,
The
when
cut-off date.
when they say if you don't produce receipt, you will not enter school. That's when you now realize that the money left is not enough to meet the need. Don't do that to yourself, right? And the fact that you need to consider the needs of your family, the primary needs of your family first, and address them before you start trying to help others. If not, you put yourself in a situation where you will likely put yourself in a situation where you will be needing help from other people, and that's not a good place to be. It's not a responsible thing to do. Okay. I know somebody will say, what if God said I should help the person? Then trust God to also provide for you. And I mean, God is
not the author of confusion.
Yes. So just make sure you head right. Okay. When you say it's God that told you to give. Okay. Just make sure you head right, so that you're not blaming God for outcome that
God doesn't tell you to give, and then after you have given, you are now coming to tell me that I should give too, when God didn't tell me to give you. And no, I'm just saying my own whole heart. Let's be real here. It's true now. It's true, because if God told you to give, when you come to me and say, "Oh, I had though, but He told me to give and I gave," I will tell you too that please help me tell Him to tell me, because He hasn't told me, right?
Okay. So are we still on?
Are we still on? Are we still on? Please, if you can hear us, type 111. No. And
Can you still hear me? Can you still
there
hear us?
there are many adversaries today. Many adversaries. Okay, they can still hear us. 111. They say they can hear, but they can't see.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So while we're sorting out the video, I'll just keep talking. Yes, I'll keep on talking. So yes, so we've talked about all of those things, and then the next thing we need to look at is changes that need to be made. Changes that need to be made. And why am I saying this? I saw yet another post. You know that when things are going on in Nigeria, we don't play Nigerians. We don't play with speculating information and trying to turn everything into a joke, or or lessons learned. Just send it, but you're sending the lesson in a way that it is gist, because you understand. So this story was, or this account was given of a lady who doesn't make much. Her husband is the primary breadwinner, right? He's the one bringing in the major chunk of money. And they live in, where is this place now? Somewhere on the mainland, a posh area. Is it Abuja? I don't know. A posh area of the mainland, right? And their rent is 850,000. I mean, the houses in that area are old, but expensive. 850,000 naira for rent. And because of all that is happening, the husband suggested to his wife that they should move from there to another place where the rent will be a lot cheaper, maybe 450,000 or something, sharp. And she was completely against it, seriously against it. And why was she against it? Because she said that a lot of her friends live in VI, in Lekki, and Ikoyi, and she has just been managing the fact that they were living in this place that was costing them 850,000, and now the husband wants to just spoil everything completely by moving them to another part of town. I think Ikorodu or somewhere. So she just couldn't take it. Now, of course, people were looking at the post and people were commenting and
Running
saying things
comments as
like, she's
usual.
not serious. Is it the lucky friends that are going to pay the rent, or is it the husband? And look who's talking. She's not even bringing anything significant to add to the resources for the family. So why is she complaining? Does she understand how easy or how difficult it is to make the money, and so on? So this is another thing. Times like this require serious adjustment. Times like this require that you actually consider your options. The fact that you move to a, in quotes, cheaper place today doesn't mean that your fate is sealed.
Yeah.
You can move to a cheaper place today, and then sometime in the near future you move to an even better place. There's nothing against that. But when you are insisting, you have to maintain a certain standard, you have to maintain a certain reputation, or keep up a certain appearance or a certain image of yourself and of your status. The fact is that you will only be able to do that realistically for so long before you run out of resources. And then it will now be very glaring that you were just keeping up appearances. Because assuming they say, or the husband says, okay, yes, let's continue to look good in the eyes of our friends. Let's continue to live here and be paying 850. He pays the first one, the second one, and then the money finishes. Maybe they will have to move back to the village, not even in Korodu. Do you understand? So the resources you have, whether you like it or not, if you want to keep up appearances, just realize that soon enough, if you don't come up with new streams of income, you will get to the point where you run out of resources, and you will now be faced with a forced adjustment that may be even worse than what would have been the case if you made the adjustment earlier to allow people some room to breathe.
I like where this is going, and I want to bring in where it touches singles and where it touches
I can see
singles.
Patricia Akpan.
Yes. I saw her. She was one that told us that audio went ahead. And I want to bring in the place where it touches singles, right? And for married people, you can say, as inflation is rising, their love too needs to adjust to meet the rising, because they're already in it, right? But for singles, as inflation is rising, what will be happening to their relationships? How will inflation affect their relationships? What do they do? Do you understand? As inflation is going up now, so as inflation is going up, should they be stepping down on relationships because the love is getting costly?
Let's ask them now. For those that are online, what are people doing?
That's true.
Doing right
That's
now
true. That's
with
true.
relationships? So at least Kingsley is there. Kingsley, Debbie, you're there. Wilson, T. Wilson, I see you. Hi. So please, you guys, just feel free to share. Just tell us some highlights of how you are adjusting to the inflation as singles. What adjustments are you making? Okay. And while we're waiting for you to give that comment, I would like to say something that came up last time we were discussing in this direction. Remember, I said that people need to learn to live beneath their means and not just within their means. So most
please
of the time,
expatiate on that, especially as it touches us, the single people. We are association of single.
Yeah. So so this affects everybody, single, married, as in everybody. People need to learn to live not just within their means or beneath their means. Okay, so allow room, allow a space, like a buffer, to so that you can adjust with all these changes. So why do I say this? Most of the time, when someone says I'm living within my means, they haven't left so much space. A number of times, you see someone says I'm living within my means, and that means that by the time they take care of all their bills, they have very little left. Maybe not even enough to save, right? But the idea of living beneath or far below your means, just get what I'm saying, is that you have enough space so that if one price spikes, you're still within your means.
I'm getting the mathematics now.
Beneath is far below within. Within is near your means, right? So if you are living beneath or far below your means, it means that you have enough room so that when fuel price goes up, it doesn't take you to the point where you have used up all your resources. When your landlord comes all of a sudden and announces, oh, things stop, I'm increasing this rent by this amount, you're not like, hey, my own has finished, I have to move out. Do you understand?
Right.
When the school increases the fees, you don't have to now start changing your child's school all of a sudden because you were putting them in a school that's as in you're just managing to pay for that school fees. You know, there's some schools that when you pay school fees, as if you've taken your first and second month salary in that quarter to make up school fees, then your family survives on the third month.
And school fees and every quarter.
And every quarter. Do you understand? It's not sustainable.
So I would extrapolate that for relationships, for single people. It means that as a promising young man, don't be looking for high maintenance babe.
And that as a high maintenance babe, you should, in quotes, be thinking of sorting out some of your own stuff by yourself, number one. Or you should be thinking about thinking about reducing your expectation from the guys that are in your life. Because I mean, if the guys are reasonable and they want to continue sorting out your high in quote maintenance fee, they may not have enough left to put in place the important things that will enable you to go to the place where you're married.
Maybe you're just flowing this evening.
It's true now, because if they use all the money to take you on expensive dates, use all the money to buy you all kind of clothes and gifts and all the things you like, right, which are expensive and so on. They use the money they have to do all of that. Which money would they use to pay a bride price? Which money would they use to even travel to the village to see your parents? Which money would they use to pay for venue? Which money would they use for the honeymoon? If they even succeed in paying for the things to make the marriage happen. Unless you say, I need the maintenance and we can just go to court, sign and collect it and go home with the 2 or 3 witnesses or what, and then it's done. But if you're expecting all of this, right, then be sure that the guy can actually handle all of that. If not, you may just find yourself in a situation where somebody's saying, yes, I love you. Yes, I really want to spend the rest of my life with you. But, I really need some more time to be able to gather the funds so that we can make this formal. And when you now check, what is he spending the money on? He's spending the money maintaining you, in quotes, and your needs.
Patricia Akpa says, it's not only that you might end up moving to the village instead of Ikorodu, the marriage might end. Sharp.
When somebody says, you know what, I can't stay anymore. Ordinary this you cannot do. Ordinary that you cannot do. No, so yeah.
Kings let me say sharp. Say no to high maintenance. Timora says, talk to me directly. Timora, are you online? If you're online, say hi.
Oh my goodness.
Timora, say hi.
Yeah. So yes, make the adjustments so you can still go out and have fun without spending so much money. Use this same internet.
Hi.
Yes.
Timora, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, Timora.
It's good to see everyone. It's been a while since I've been on the show.
Go ahead. Tell us how are you single guys? What's your response? How are you we are coming the
Omo,
cost of living.
it's as if Tinubu came to also remove subsidy from relationships.
Um,
The,
it's
the
joking.
thing has choked everybody.
It's joking. So what is so how are you doing relationship these days now? As per
What are the adjustments you
what
guys
are
have
the
made?
adjustments you are making, in your relational life?
Ah, well, we are still single. That's the thing. It's just that
Okay.
talking stage one tear my mouth.
Oh,
Talking
well,
stage.
so that means okay, so one of the adjustments is that you're elongating the talking stage.
Mm.
Is
Yes,
that what
yes, yes,
you're elongating the talking stage?
yes.
Voila, how come?
Okay,
How
okay.
come?
So
Yeah, go
what
ahead. Go
the,
ahead.
the thing is this. I'm not involved in anything that is going to break the bank. That's just the truth. I'm not out for someone that has like that has long-term plans, because this Nigeria like this, you are a backup to yourself in this Nigeria. That's just the truth. Anything can just hit you. Anything can just hit you. So you need to work with longer term plans. So if someone does not think like that, it's likely they're going to be the kind of high maintenance people that currently I'm not cut out for. That's for me. So all those people that you just notice, like, well, there are a few people aside the relationship part that could ask for assistance, and maybe you would see need to help these people. But if you see people that ask assistance for basic needs, I mean, for me, that's like a red flag. Maybe you start talking to someone and they're asking you for basic needs, like they need to feed. I I I mean, you cannot have food problems like every day of the week, and you see someone that you start talking to, and then the next thing they're telling you is that they really went into some serious debt recently because of one stuff like that. Like there are like three common incidences. One is like feeding, the other one is like rent, the other one is like rent,
Rent,
and
rent.
and then since I'm like in school, you will hear a lot of school fees trouble, and you just be laughing. I mean, that's what you're here for. So how would your school fees ever have a problem? I mean, how do you want to cope if
Ah,
you put your school fees to something that is not really worth it? So when I hear things like that, I'm like, okay, thank you for telling me you're not for me.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. But anyways, even on the part of the ladies, all right, I just feel everyone is adjusting at the moment. Everyone is adjusting. Anything that you used to live off as a luxury, you need to check out what is actually necessary for you right now. What is your need first, and
Mm.
then try to live within the means, because the money you're earning may not even increase, but it's like you're not earning it anymore, because the transportation itself is taking like three times what it used to take at first. And so even if you were okay before, you can't continue living that life. You should cut down a bit, unless you get
Mm.
like three times the raise at this period. So that's just it for me.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Timon.
much,
Thank
Timura.
you.
Okay, so let's see. Kingsley Etim says, get yourself someone
With a like mind.
with a like mind. Yes. It's easier to work with somebody that you have agreement with on how you will face life, right?
Patricia says, Shebi,
Shebi,
you
you
will
will reduce
reduce
the number of
eating
eating out,
out, hanging
hanging
out.
out, and generally reduce the number of going out, because once you step out, somehow you spend money, spend on your needs
Till
till things
things
get
get
better.
better. Hmm.
Word, sis. Thank you so much. Yes, spend on your needs till things get better. So even for the relationship, what are the needs of the relationship? And you find the most cost effective or cost efficient ways to address those needs, so that the relationship gets what it needs, the value that it needs. And you're looking for time. How are you going to spend time together without it costing you so much? For instance, right? You're looking for showing the person that you care. So according to love languages, you now check, how am I going to do that? If you want to say, okay, this person's love language is gifts. Some people say, my love language is
gift.
You must be giving me gifts. Okay, what kind of gifts can you give during this period?
Baby, please, I need you to park around this bus stop for some time. Let us pick some passengers. You understand? Because this issue of my love language is gifts. But you can at the rate that we are now, as we are now. The only gift that some people have left is their life. So except you want to cuckoo keep, except you want to cuckoo kill me, there's nothing left to give. So somebody that their love language is gifts in this kind of time, what will it cost the relationship?
You just start adjusting now. You look for cheaper things that will still add value to the person.
Can we begin to talk about things of gift of time, gift of smile, gift of laugh,
please.
gift of hug. Can we begin to look at gifts?
So if I go back to back then, when we all of us were broke together, all of us were students together and stuff. You give gift too, but the gift is going to be a cheap gift, an affordable gift. You buy somebody one book like that, the book is cheap. You buy. Some people will say singlet. Some people will say singlet. Some people will say boxers, because those are amongst the cheapest things that you can get. Or some people say, okay, buy instead of buying perfume that you used to buy, maybe you buy spray now that is cheaper or something. So you just find, what is it that I can get for this person? This is part of the time when the person too has to realize that it is the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts.
Not the amount of money spent.
During inflation, it's the thought that counts.
Not the amount of money spent. So check, what are they getting? There was a time when, back then, your Christmas gift is what you need. Example, your Christmas gift will be the dress that you do not have. They'll give you that one dress. So every Sunday I now have one good dress I can add to my collection.
Correct.
Or you're buying something for your children and they're expecting toys and toys and toys. But according to the economy, what you're buying becomes pajamas. What you're buying becomes socks for school. It's a clothes that they wear to go out and stuff.
Yes.
They keep toys for now until things improve and then you can go back to buying toys and stuff. Instead of spray.
Instead of spray, she can buy Lofinda. Please, which one is Lofinda? Please help us. Help us. Which one? Lofinda. I'm not the only one asking. I didn't wrong people say, please, what is Lofinda? Pastor, please help us. We need to know.
No, when you spray, you buy them enchanter. That's powder that has a lot of very nice fragrance and stuff. So just adjust. If you've seen that this person is the person, if you've seen that this is the one I want to be with, I've considered all the other factors fine. Yeah. Right now, the only challenge is the economic factor that is affecting everybody. Then you won't say, oh, because the person is not able to continue to do all the things that I want, I'll just throw him or her away, right? You realize that this is the challenge that everybody is facing, and you too, you'll adjust, because you in your own life, that you have to make
you are inside this inflation.
Unless you say for you, money is not a factor, you have more than enough of it. Then in that case, allow the person to breathe and you bring all the funds.
That's what I was going to say. So if you have all this money, just let the promising young man breathe. So you cannot be breathing over him.
The promising young lady.
Yes, the promising young lady breathing over him. Please, all this, there are new terms that are flying around in the chat. What is Chupaolo? Is it English or is it?
This is a brand of spray.
So we have had Lofinda. He said, Lofinda is the one those malams from the jail used to carry about in a basket like that.
Interesting.
I know that thing cannot wash.
It will stay for a long
time. That will stay. It cannot wash.
Stay for a long time.
So in a case where the thought counts and a perfume you want, my brother, please, if you can find Lofinda, you are sorted. I'm serious. the thing, anytime she carried that dress, she will remember you.
Because
Thank
the
you.
fragrance is still
Thank
with
you.
them.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, Pastor.
Yeah,
Everyone.
thanks, Pastor.
You know,
So yeah, so this is these are some of the adjustments that you need to make in times like this.
In
And of
times
course,
like
there's the part where, of course, you continue to pray. God,
Yeah.
please give us new streams of income. Show us how to increase our wealth. You know, you just keep yourself in that place where you're expecting opportunities to come, and you know, trusting God that you identify them when they come. And then there's the part where you actively try. Please don't go and try the one that you carry all your savings and put and then it will disappear. Please try to create, try to do something with your hands, try to do something with the ideas that come to you. Do something, offer a service, add value somehow that will bring returns to you financially. Yes.
somebody say the write up on KGB's polo is so in line with today's topic. That's why I just sat up so that in case they didn't see the write up very
Fools
well,
rushing.
they say fools rushing. So
Yeah.
during inflation, don't be rushing.
So
Don't be rushing.
then there's
Yeah.
another thing for people in relationships. You know that
Wait, tomorrow I said make inflation no kill you for love. Don't rush.
there's another thing about relationships. You know, there are some people who feel I want to be able to find out the right person, so I will be multiple dating, right? Like they will be going out with like 5 people at the same time in the name of wanting to find out who is right for them.
Mm.
So some people keep a calendar. Monday is this one, Tuesday is that one, Wednesday is this one. You know how you
So
move
they are
things around.
inflating the relationship
So you are
to beat
having
the inflation
multiple.
in the economy.
No, not that. As in this, these are some people do multiple relationships at once because they are trying to see in the end, after they have gone with all of these people, let me pick the best one. Do you understand? So they are in many relationships, and sometimes they try to keep their different partners from realizing that they are in multiple relationships, right? But the fact is that you're going to be spending on each of those relationships, right? So you're incurring a lot more cost in the name of I want to find out who the right person for me is.
Well,
But in this situation,
but if the person is the receiver
mhm,
from those multiple streams of
mhm,
income,
mhm.
he will he
No,
or
it's not
she
a
will stay
problem
in
for the
the
person on the receiving end. The
mm.
issue is for the person who chooses that I am going to have these multiple relationships and it is costing you, each one is costing you. Most of the time, it's guys that are in that position, right? So you spend to take babe A out, babe B, babe C, babe D, and so on. You're spending multiple places. But in a situation like this, you now have to
find
realize,
effective ways.
yes, you have to realize that there's a way you can start screening people without necessarily going out with them. Can you get to know somebody up front? Can you get to find out a few things that will help you say this one doesn't even qualify?
Can you improve,
Some people will
can
spend,
you improve your scoping mechanisms so that
yeah,
you can
so that you don't
scope
have-
a babe, and by scoping the babe you can tell that I don't have to go into this one.
Yeah, because there are certain things that are critical for you, and you need to now deploy your resources or your time and your focus, right, to identify if those things are there up front, rather than spending the time to know what her likes and dislikes are, and spending the time to know what her favorite fragrance is, and so on. Those things don't count, right? What is critical for you, right, is what counts. What is critical for you. So take time up front to find out. Example, if you say, for me, we have to be of the same faith, then it is important that you find out upfront, is this person of the same faith with me? Before you go and spend time saying we want to go out, I want to find out if she's an interesting person. Interesting is not critical for you. Faith is critical. Or you say for your own, it is critical that she must be a six-figure earner, in quote, for instance, because you want somebody who makes her own money and is financially independent, because you are
To
trying
complement
to build that kind of thing.
you, yes.
Then upfront, find out where she works, how she makes a living, and get that information sharply. Don't waste time trying to see is the figure right, the type of shoe she wears, her sense of style, and so on. Because for you, that's not what is critical. So use the things that are critical for you, meaning you have to identify them. Use those things that are critical for you to do the screening upfront, so you don't waste time having multiple relationships. Then after you have screened and found the one that meets this primary critical need, you can now focus on one person and see if you can take the relationship to the place where you desire to go.
As Ronnie said, marriage ceremonies of necessity
Mhm.
must be drastically scaled down.
Word,
sir.
yeah.
Word, sir.
Because we see a lot, there's a lot happening.
There's a lot.
And you know, as the society, as time goes on, people add on more layers of luxury, more layers of variety, more layers of interesting things to the ceremony.
Why are you like this? You say, "But give us scoping tips now, bros. You have to up your game. You have to up your game." But my wife has been giving some, since she started. Potential brides must be wise to check out for new streams of incomes and get prepared to brace up to the challenges that goes with minimizing spending. These are some of the scopes that you need to do. Does the lady have the ability to minimize spending? Does she have the ability
how
to work
somebody will
within
say,
a budget?
I gave somebody complaints. I gave my wife 10,000 naira, and she's asking me, what can this do?
What can this do?
The person will now tell you, but I know somebody who gave his wife 5,000 naira,
and she
made soup and something else. Do you understand? So is how can you work with what you have, right? How can you work with what you have? Because there's one thought that my mom used to make, and your mother knows how to make that thing too. Where they'll put onions and oil and vegetable, right? And by the time it comes out,
you need to eat boiled yam. Boiled yam. My goodness.
You'll be wondering how exactly did they combine these three ingredients
to make something that I used to eat boiled yam.
So,
and it would be as if you went to a 5-star restaurant.
If you want to go and say every time it must be stew, you buy tomatoes and then you go, they tell you one small basket like this 2,000 naira.
No, don't say that.
What?
That 2,000 naira cannot enter basket. Do you understand?
It's too far back.
It's too far back. 2,000 naira now in hand. They use hand and measure the tomatoes for you. 2,000 naira tomato, use hand and measure it for you. So
so it's adjustment everywhere. And the fact is, you're working as a team, so you're thinking of the well-being, the sustainability of the family. How are we going to make this family work?
And you see, but let me just also add this other small ingredient before we round up. See, and the adjustment does not mean you don't have faith. Do you understand? Because there's a way that somebody will say, this the guy is just broke guys. That's why they're thinking like that. No, there's a part of faith that requires common sense. Do you understand? Yes, like my wife. There's an example my wife always does. I don't even know where she got that example from. That you cannot be saying, "Oh, I believe," and you go and stand in front of trailer that is coming.
And you believe that God will protect you.
God will protect you.
And you stand in the middle of the road.
And trailer is
Express.
coming. And trailer is coming. And then you say, "Oh, I believe," and go and jump beside the trailer. Your believing will bear fruit. Because by the time you arrive in the presence of the Father, you will say, I actually see that you believed. So that's why you are here. So if you don't want to get there quickly, please apply common sense and let your faith guide you to wisdom.
Yes.
Do you understand? Yeah, because these are
so you will say that the works that complement faith in this season is things like identifying what is critical, making adjustments, looking at how you will stretch your resources, right, to cover the period of need. So that by the time something more comes that you may call miraculous, it's like, wow, fantastic. God has given us even more than we asked for. So
please don't forget that critical one of how did you put it, staying beneath the within.
Yeah.
And
beneath your means and within your means. Yes. Just look at your life. If they increase one thing now, will you be stranded? Yes. If one medical emergency comes now, will you be stranded? Make adjustments, please. Once upon a time, we were living just within our means. And by the time they increased one school fees like that, we knew, okay, we need to adjust. And we learned the lesson and applied it across. So please, just learn. The story is told of the pastor whose town got flooded. And he just kept waiting for a miracle. For God to come and rescue him. So those people that come on boats, the rescuers came and met him, and he said, no, he's waiting. He's been praying, he's waiting for God. And they left. They said, are you sure? They left. Then I think another group came, and then finally the chopper came. At this point, he was on the roof of his house.
As in the water has reached.
Yes. So at this point, he's waiting on the roof, and the people are coming. The flood waters are still coming. We've come to rescue you. We heard you're still here. And he's like, don't worry, I'm fine. I pray to the Lord. He will save me. He will save me. And they were like, okay, so they left. And the water eventually overwhelmed him, and he died, and he appeared in heaven, as they say. And he now got there and was asking God, why? I trusted you.
Yeah, I believed you. Is that belief for me?
Yeah, and God told him, I sent the boat, you did not answer.
I even sent
chopper. You did not answer.
So I should now leave my throne where I'm doing a lot of things, for a lot of people. I come and carry only you with a mighty, majestic hand.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with expecting miracles, but let's also use the wisdom God has given us, the brain He has given us, the common sense He has also given us.
Yeah.
Apply it into making adjustments in our lives. Somebody says, hope for
the
best, but prepare for the worst.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So assume that nothing's going to happen. But yes, you're believing for miracles. But work so that in case nothing happens, you can still survive, because you never know. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So
see the testimony from Pastor Remy. He said, my wife wanted my son to go to a private school that is costly, but I objected because I had just lost a contract. And I would be a little tough with finance, and it would be a little tough with finance. So I opted for an FCT government school. Me too, I went to government school. So it's not government. I went to government school, but look at me now. God is helping us. See, today, my boy had 194 in JAMB and 6 distinctions in WAEC. He's heading Kingsley University to study mechatronics. Oh, at FUT, it's our university. We both went there. So it's going to be part of our alma mater.
That's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
So in other words,
congratulations to him.
Yeah, because you could say, oh, it has to be this kind of school, but you can still find a school that may not be as expensive but still offers quality education.
Yes. So, tomorrow says rising cost of love. Seems like it's more of the man's problem, but we hope all understand.
Okay, so it's time to wrap this up.
Congratulations, Pastor. There are congratulations on the chat for Pastor Remy.
Yeah.
He said, my wife was angry, but my tuition paid off, and we saved ourselves the embarrassment of owing money. Yeah. This is so strong. This is so strong, Pastor Remy. Thank you so much. Thank you for these testimonies.
Yeah.
And just before you close us, I really want to say a big thank you to everyone that stayed with us, even though we had technical challenges and couldn't come to you at 8 p.m. But you stayed with us, and even when the things were coming and going, we were just listening to our voices as if your voice is very nice. Even when there was no picture, they were just hearing your voice. And you were just flowing. And but can we celebrate my wife today? Because today she was just flowing, as in even it was as if she had just made up her mind that no matter what happened, whether I see black screen in front of me or I will just go on. And you had grace. And thank you, Pastor Remy, and everyone that was commenting.
Yes, thank you so much.
And that stayed with us to the end. Thank you very much. So
yes. So thank you once
Please,
again.
Don't forget to share.
Don't forget to share,
like,
subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and to like. And we'll see you next time on Common Sense for Relationship. Remember, common sense
is not so common. Bye. Thank you for staying. Bye.
Okay.
once again for joining us. We hope you got great value today. Our goal is to bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your life and relationships. Please do not forget to subscribe, share, and like.